I remember I got to a point where I didn't want to watch any more Smash online, so watching these two players playing offline, I mean, it's a whole different beast, Smash Brothers, when it comes to the online and to the offline. So I'm really excited to see a lot of the online players be brought to the offline.
As far as I recall, and as far as we can all tell, these are no longer online players. They are fighting for their lives, for their position, for the glory that it holds being in grand finals as Swain and Chag go on quite heavily and violent on this first match of winner semis. This is Swain already putting a lot of pressure on Chag back at the ledge, but Chag actually fights back and goes for it. Fishes for anything, and even though Chag actually has the lead on percentage, I feel like he's losing a lot of footing against Swain on the stage.
Ooh, and now I really like that option on the side of Chag, trying to go for the counter, but it's Chag's time to pressure. We're back on the neutral game, and we can see that Swain, he's smelling blood in the water, so he's going to try and go for a pretty risky option, maybe on the side of Roy, maybe a side B, maybe something to try and catch Chag off guard. We will not know, and yep, I called it. The side B from Roy was the thing that Swain was going to use to take Chag's first stock.
It's not exactly the best option to throw because it has a lot of landing lag, but of course, once you have already mastered it, it doesn't matter where you land it. Well, it actually matters where you land it, but what matters the most is the timing when you land it. So, Swain already with a 2-stock lead against Chag, one of the best Palutenas in the world, and as soon as I say so, he'd lose the first stock, but on the other hand, he's got plenty of time to actually make this game number one in his favor. If he actually makes it back, though.
Is he going to make it back? It looks like, yeah, Swain is back. And now let's see if he can get something going just to try and close out this first game against Chag. And I really like this Roy on the side of Swain. Really offensive, really on your face, really rush down oriented. Now with the Nair, Chag just holding onto his life. Puts the Nair, the trade. Okay, Swain's turn to pressure.
That's gonna be a portal. That's gonna be the stock. Chag went for the mix-up back into the stage. He tried to teleport at the middle of the stage, expecting that Swain would just go directly to the ledge. But Swain actually read that from afar. He wrote a long biography of what Chag had to offer on the next 30 minutes. And on this specific point of time, he actually got the first game. But on the other hand, as my grandpa once said, and he's one of the wisest men I know, anyone can win a game number one, so it doesn't matter. Swain may have the lead, but Chag may bounce back, so we're still to see what's gonna happen afterwards.
Okay, interesting choice of stage on the side of Chag. What do you think about this stage? Do you think that it's actually going to help Chag against Swain?
I'm uncertain. I gotta be 100% honest with you. I'm uncertain. I feel like this stage may not exactly be the best suited for Chag as a counter pick. As you may already know, the side blast zones may be a little bit closer to the stage than on other stages. And of course, since Palutena is a character that usually kills on the top side, being one of the highest ceilings, I'm not certain. I sadly cannot tell what's going or crossing through Chag's mind, but it's not exactly working at this point. Swain has actually the stock lead, and he's only taking 8%, 23%. It's back on the loops, and he actually manages to lose the stock. That's gonna be the stock. Of course, Chag manages to bounce back.
Yeah, and that's probably Roy's biggest weakness. His poor recovery. I mean, it's just so easy to exploit, and we can see that Chag, he's just so ready with that counter. That's why we've seen him going for those counters as a pretty strong option. I mean, there isn't a whole bunch of risk involved, and the reward is just so big for Chag.
I think what I'm thinking, and of course this is anything but a speculation at this point. I think that being the fact that there's walls on each side back at the ledge may hinder Swain's decision making into making it back onto the stage. He doesn't have as many angles as he usually has when the stage is actually like you know, it has these weird angles inside the stage. You know what I'm saying? Like he has to commit to a single angle to come back, and that's exactly what Chag is making use of to counter on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if Roy's recovery is super linear, it's going to be even easier to tell where he's going
Exactly.
to try to recover in this stage. But right now, Swain with a pretty good lead against Chag, 40% of his second stock. Oh, but
Once again, went for the
okay.
counter, actually got nothing in hand, and Swain a single stock with a whole stock ahead of Chag. Chag at the verge of getting this second stock against Swain. It's a reset on the ledge trap, just taking Swain every single step, just being one step ahead of him, and that's gonna be the stock. That's
Oh.
sadly the whiff of the counter, and Swain makes it back, but not too long.
Ooh, but yeah, the explosion was there to save Chag's life, and now a pretty even game for these two players, 0% against 9%. Swain, he might be looking to change the pace of this second game because he's gotten Chag used to a much more offensive type of game plan. But we saw him just standing on that platform, waiting for Chag to make a move. And I really like that option from Sway, you know? Just you get your opponent used to a certain type
Ooh.
of freedom and then you change it just to keep them on their toes.
But Chag, on the other hand, he's already taken the step. He's just already making his way inside Swain's mind. He's changing and stepping up the game in such a way that slows down Swain's momentum. And even though Swain is actually fighting back and landing those blows against Chag, I feel like Chag has the upper hand on the mentality on how to play around Swain, just baiting him into taking an option. But sadly, Chag whips that grab, and he's already at the ledge at 97%. That's such
Oh.
5%, and we're probably gonna lose this Nexus stock.
Oof, and we've seen that what Swain can do with those steals. So if I were Chag, I will be shaking down to my boots. But the same thing can be said about Swain. 112%. He could die from anything. He could die from a sneeze. And we know that Chag has those conversions on point. He probably practices them 3 hours a day. But who needs conversions when you have the explosion from Palutena? I'm pretty sure Chag was sweating right there, but like you said it, or like your grandpa said it, anyone can
Anyone
win
can win
a
game.
game 1.
Yeah.
But now we're going to game 3. I'm excited. I'm excited for this.
I'm legitimately excited as well. I mean, as my wisest grandpa once said, anyone can take game number 1. Yeah, that's a fact. But on the game number 2, Swain actually took a sip of the blood that Chag was boiling on. You saw that Chag was actually a little lost at the beginning of the game. He actually struggled a little to find his footing. Eventually, he found the way to mess up with Swain's timing and momentum by just slowing down and bait every single commitment that Swain could offer. But it was still too close. So the rest of the set may be as close as this game number 1 and game number 2 were. So we're going to small battlefield. That's gonna be Swain's counter pick. And you may already know it is. It has a hint on the name. Small battlefield, small blast zone. Of course, it's gonna be Roy's stage of preference.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that the most important, well, one of the other important things about this change of stage is that we've seen that Sway really likes to stick to Chag, right? Like, it's like if Chag was one of those trap for the glued traps for rats and stuff. No, yeah. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. This analogy, it sounded better in my head, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I totally see what you're laying down,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Don't worry
yeah.
about it. I got you, bro. I got you. And maybe other people may got you as well. In any case, yeah, I totally understand what you're going for. And of course, I gotta add to the fact that Swain once again has the lead against Chag. Every single time that I see Chag back at the ledge, I feel like he's lost a little bit of the comfort that he usually holds in the center of the stage. I feel like he's struggling to find his spacing.
Ooh.
But on the other hand, one thing for sure is that Chag has mastered every single conversion that Palutena has to offer. but the commitment to the lasting down tilt, of course, was his demise in this first stock.
Yeah, we saw that Swain was super ready with that backer. That just goes to show that Swain knows this matchup, he knows his frame data against Palutena, so he was just super ready. He saw that down tilt being blocked and he executed without even thinking it. But now, with the Nair, the fair, oh, we charge, but Chag makes it back on stage. The chase now. Oh, now Chag, what are you going to do once again? What a catch on the side of Swain. This man has no fear.
Hi, that's my name as well. So, in any case, I'm not entirely certain whether Chag actually whether Swain landed that true frame against Chag or Chag tried to go for the mix-up to land behind Swain. But that just worked wonders for Swain. He's got, again, a stock lead against Chag. And on the other hand, I feel like his repositioning is not the best. Swain goes aggressive, aggro, every single time that he tries to come back into the stage. Le pica la cola porque quiere entrar en el centro siempre.
Así es, ahí anda medio picón. But now let's see what Chag is going to do. Goes for the back throw. Oh, and there's that counter that we were talking about earlier. Now this is Chag's moment. He's got Swain on a pretty tough spot, but Swain makes it back to the center of the stage. He likes to play his Roy like if he was playing Little Mac. He likes to stay on the center stage. But now, Swain, we're back on the neutral. What are you going to do? Roy has stubby normals, stubby buttons, and he's... Oh, the counter. He struggles a little bit on the neutral against Chag, but that counter... It's going to be what Chag needed to get this last stock from Swain. And maybe the download from Chag has been completed. He already unzipped Swain that zip.
I'm not entirely certain if the download may be completed. I gotta digress considering the fact that Chag actually went all the way to the last stock. Usually where I go for the download complete narrative is because people have been 3-stocked or some sorts. But on the other hand, I gotta agree with something. Of course, Chag has adapted. Of course, Chag has already taken the step forward against Swain. I gotta agree with you on that one. I feel like Swain's playstyle may be explosive and may be aggressive and it may be polarizing. But once you've taken the rhythm to it, once you have understood the rhythm to it, he's got nothing else to offer.
But okay, the change of characters on the side of Chag. He's switching to Pete. I'm surprised about this change of character on the side of Chag. Maybe he knows that if he loses this game, he has the last game to work. And he doesn't want Swain to get too comfortable against his Palutena. Or maybe...
He's just testing?
Yeah, maybe he's just testing a theory
he's just having fun at this point?
We won't know. Only Chag knows, really.
Only Chag knows. Only there's 2 people in the world that may know. It's Chag and God, and only one of them is actually on camera. So... It's 76, 72 as an offstage situation that Chag could not land a finishing blow on. He is struggling a little bit to get on Swain's space. And as you may have already noticed, Dark Pit is one of Chag's favorites. Every single time that I've seen his Dark Pit, is either he just wants to trade him or he just wants to have fun. But he's taken that Dark Pit quite a lot of sets. I'm not entirely certain if that's going to work on this set though. But he's got the right idea of how to face Swain. It's Dark Pit's weaknesses, the fact that the ones that are stopping him from taking this set at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, okay, that's actually going to be enough to get Swain's first stock. And I think that Palutena has better kill options than the Pits. So, yeah, I'm puzzled by this change of character on the side of Chag. But I'm pretty sure he knows something that we don't. I've seen that he really likes to lab the Dark Beat, especially against some matchups. But I don't know if Roy is one of those specific matchups. So, Who knows? Who knows? But it looks like he's not having a lot of trouble against Swain's Roy. I mean, 70 against 70. That's a pretty close game.
On the other hand, though, Roy's confirms are actually what's making Chag struggle. I know the Dark Pit has a lot of confirms, of course, but I feel like Roy's are a little bit simpler and a little bit easier to execute as opposed to what Dark Pit's confirms are. So, you were right. At the beginning of this second stock, Chag held the neutral quite solid, but once Roy gets in, it's gonna be quite hard for Chag to make a stop on it because he doesn't have the hitboxes that usually Palutena has against this character. It's a 0% on the last stock. Swain still holds 100 on his second. He's got the lead, but we don't know how long that's gonna last.
Yeah, and Palutena has also specials that really help her control the pace of the game. She can use the explosion or the projectiles just to try and put a wall on Roy's road. And well, Dark Pit only has the dark arrows, so yeah, I mean, Chag is pretty much, I don't know, I'm still thinking about the change of character on the side of Chag. Why though? Why is he doing this?
Let's not question the fact. Let's question the results. And at this point, it's 143 against 69. And Chag is still on the verge of losing this second stock, and he's pretty much at kill percent. But on the other hand, Swain was also at kill percent. Anything could have taken that blow and make him land back at the blast zone. And Chag had already got 94. It's a leg trap situation that Swain just lets him in. Chag manages to make it back by using all those jumps that he has to offer, but he landed back at the opposing ledge. He has actually got no control whatsoever in the middle of the stage.
Well, now Chag is already at 100%. Is he gonna make it back? He's holding onto his life. Okay, we block those. The dash attack on the side of Chag goes for the upper, goes for the nair. Back here. Swain, he's off stage. He's gotta be careful. 55% now. Chag's once again on a pretty sticky situation. Okay, tries to go for the ledge stone. Now the arrow, the nair. Slowly but surely closing this percentage gap. Chag is going to go for something risky. Goes for the down smash. Doesn't hit.
It didn't pay him off, but on the other hand, what paid him off was that lasting backer. Swain makes his game on the game number 4, and that's the last opportunity that he has in order to face Nair at Winners Finals. May we have to remind you, this is actually Winners Semis. They are both competing to determine who's gonna be the first, second, and third place in this tournament, of course.
Ooh, but Swain, he's looking nervous. He's shaking. On the other side we have Chag. He's looking pretty comfortable. And I told you, maybe this was Chag's master plan all along. He was trying to shake Swain's boots with the Dark Pit, but now he's back at it again, and with a vengeance, he's dishing out the Palutena, and on Yoshi's story, nonetheless.
I feel like I have seen this before. I feel like Chag has already taken another Roy to Yoshi's stories once before. I'm certain what was the result, but I think that they were the kills were quite early, so I'm not entirely certain what's on his mind when he takes Swain to one of the closest to the blast zone stages that this game has to offer. That's a 78%. It's a less trap situation. He lands perfectly. That up smash against Roy understands what Swain's gonna be or where Swain is gonna go, and that's exactly what's put him on the lead. That's gonna be the first stock, and Chag has the upper hand against Swain.
Yeah, and I think that this is the first game in this set where Chag actually gets the first stock. So we've seen what Chag can do when he's lagging behind by one stock, but it's amazing what he can do when he has one stock to work around it, especially because I think that Chag, when he gets comfortable, he really likes to toy with his opponents. He's going to go for some crazy stuff, but losing his second stock, closing the percentage gap. Swain just doing a magnificent job of maneuvering around Palutena's options.
That's gonna be
Spotted
the
down
stock.
air, and I told you that Chag, he's comfortable. I think that he already smelled Swain's fear.
Yes, exactly. Chag's already on the zone. He's already in. He's just committing to the shark side on his mind. He's already facing the threat that Swain had to offer once before, but now he's the predator. So one thing for certain is the fact that Swain's already on the verge of losing this game, and even though he had the upper hand for the first and the third game, I gotta say, it's gonna be a little bit heartbreaking that Swain had the chance to face once a top 10 player of the whole world and take the game of it, take the set of it, and the top player, he's just the best. And that's exactly what you have to, that's exactly why anyone can take a game number one works, because it's true. At the end of the day, they are top players because they adapt and they face and they fear nothing. And that's gonna be Chag, as I said. He goes to winners finals and Swain drops to losers.
Yeah, and something that I want to point out about Swain is that this is the first time that I actually get to see him play. But I think that he has a lot of good bases, you know? He clearly knows his character. He clearly knows the game. He clearly knows he has the frame data on mind, or, well, at least against a character like Palutena. So, yeah, a lot